Hi there, in this video I will be talking about stretching and especially dynamic and static stretching and flexibility exercises. And to start off I will be talking about static flexibility exercises or static stretching, which is holding a passive position close to or parallel to the maximum potential flexibility of a person. And this is probably the most common way to stretch or do your flexibility exercises. So in this example I am showing you an exercise to stretch your quadriceps, and let's say that this is the maximum amount of flexibility that I have for this exercise. So this position I will hold for a certain amount of time, which will usually be around the 5 to 30 seconds per repetition or per set. Then there is dynamic stretching, which often has a very bad name, but it is actually a decent way of getting more flexible. And dynamic stretching is using momentum during stretching without exceeding the static limits of one's flexibility. Performing something like a high kick is something that requires dynamic flexibility. However, there are different ways to perform dynamic stretching exercises. For example, this hip flexibility exercise in which you step out and slightly bounce up and down. With this you will increase the length of your muscles and decrease the length of your muscles, and this will help you to increase your flexibility as well. Then there is another way of stretching, and this one is the ballistic stretching, which is stretching with a fast bouncy movement that exceeds one's natural flexibility limit. So this means that when you can do a split you will go down slightly further, and this by using a fast bouncy movement. And this technique can only be used by those who are more advanced and with professional help, because the risk of damaging your muscles and tendons is very big by using this technique. And here is an interesting question: why can one be good at static flexibility, like performing a regular split, but not be good at performing dynamic flexibility, like delivering a high kick or vice versa? Well, there are a couple of reasons for this, and the first one is that motion requires a short burst of flexibility. So it is only for a short amount of time, and therefore those who can do a high kick might not be able to do a full side split, because a full side split will take a longer amount of time to perform the flexibility exercise. People who might be good at performing a side split might not be good at performing a high kick because they can't use any gravity to put the limbs in the right position. And finally, with dynamic flexibility you will need the antagonists and also the synergists, which are the muscles that will make the opposite movement or will help with the movement as well. Whereas flexibility in a static movement will primarily need the flexibility of the muscles and tendons that you will target. Basically, what I want to explain here is that some sports like gymnastics and martial arts need different kinds of flexibility, and a soccer player or football player will most of the time not need flexibility for the hamstring. So the amount of flexibility and the kind of flexibility that you require will really depend on the kind of goals that you have and the kind of sports that you perform. And dynamic exercises are very useful if you want to break a plateau, or if you are a martial artist or require flexibility for sports like basketball. So let me explain the term dynamic exercises by two different examples. And you just saw me perform a static standing hamstring stretch, and now I'm performing the dynamic standing hamstring stretch. And what you will do is go to your limit every time and then let go of the pressure and repeat a couple of times. The second example shows you a static way of getting into the split, and the second way I will use a more dynamic technique to get into the split, and this is how you can perform stretches as well. So if you're trying to learn the split, then you can try to do some dynamic exercises as well. However, dynamic stretching is not for beginners, and you will need a certain amount of experience before you can start with dynamic stretching, because you need to know where your limits are, and you need to know how far you can bounce during the stretching. The comment question of the day is, why are you watching this video? Subscribe to my channel for more videos, click on the video to see the full stretching and flexibility playlist, and go to my channel to search for all my videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.